I want to get into the topic of child support and the horrors that it brings to men all over the world. No, not all. Well, maybe all over the world, because I guess even if you leave the country, you still have to pay it. But I don't know about that. But honestly, I have to say that I was not all that involved with the topic until I had kids. And it's been a while since I had my first, and then I had my second, and now it's just like it's become an issue for me. And so I do listen to videos and I subscribe to people who talk about the subject, and it's just I learn more and more about it, the good and the bad. And I still have I have my opinions about it, and my opinions are mainly negative about the institution of it, especially with the glamorization of it amongst baby moms and stuff. And so that's kind of what my talk is gonna be about. My personal experiences and summarizing, what I see in the world, or what I've seen and experienced dealing with it. And moreover, it sucks. It sucks very, it's not a great thing at all. Let me see, where do I start? Well, first, I want to start with, the feeling that men can have, or men get, the moment they realize they may have to pay. It's a horrible feeling, especially when you don't make as much money as you would like to. And here you have, the government coming in, taking money out of your pocket to pay for, your child. And it's one thing, I feel, this is a major thing. If you're a father that takes care of his children, that makes time to see them and do things with them, then maybe child support should be something that's not for that parent, for that father, or for those parents. I don't feel like the state should be involved if both parents are in the child's life and they're actively taking care of the child. That's just my opinion. I can also see why the state will step in, even though both parents are in, because things don't always go as smoothly as we would like to. Parents may start off okay and be all right for a year or two, but an issue may come down the road that just makes everything horrible. Therefore, the state will need to step in and do what it does and make a decision. But I just can't agree with some of the decisions that the court may make. I've heard stories of good and bad things, and I just feel like parents need to work together. To raise the child. But it's just a bad thing usually on either parent who has to pay it. But moreover, the stories are mainly geared toward men. And men usually get the extremely short end of the stick on this. And it's just not good. It's not a good thing. It's not a good feeling to know that you have to pay, and then you have to pay to see the child on top of that, because a lot of the time the money that's being given isn't going to be given back to help pay for traveling expenses if you don't live in the same state, or to pay for anything else that the man may have to just come forward with to help see the child. And in some ways, if you don't make enough money, or you may have prior bills, because that's not taken into account either, you can make as much money, as a movie star or whatever. But if you already have expenses in place before the child support starts, then, especially if the money you make is pretty much taken up every month or every year or whatever. Let's say you make $40,000 and you have $35,000 in expenses every year or whatever, and they don't take that into account. So it can throw a wrench into whatever you may have in place, because they just started and don't give you any time to make adjustments, or, something of that nature. But moving forward, it's not necessarily for people who, or for guys, women or men who don't make a lot of money. You know, if you barely making it in society, which you may, your salary, which for a lot of people in the 1%, or, you know, don't even make 20 grand or 25 or 30 or whatever. If you make those, you know, you don't make a lot of money. And then you have, you know, the government come in and take a slice of that pie, which sucks. Now, the percentage is the same no matter how much money you make, which is good and bad because it somewhat does make it fair no matter who it is. But I think the less that you make, they should make an adjustment for percentage wise, because the percentage is larger, you know, no matter how much you make. I mean, the percentage is larger the further down you go on the pay scale of that person's income. So it sucks, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying the percentage is like mathematically larger. It's the same percentage, but like living wages and whatnot wise, that little bit of money or whatever with the less you make could be, you know, it becomes more of a big deal, is what I'm saying. And let's say the mental anguish, the emotional anguish that a lot of people feel, man, about it. Because I do sometimes feel like when you pay child support, it makes the father, for the most part, because I think I can only speak for the men for the most part, but I know from the guys I talk to and myself and the videos I've seen on YouTube, because there are a lot of them, a lot of men don't necessarily, it's harder for them to be in their child's life emotionally when you have to pay that, if you understand what I'm saying. You know, because you have to deal with so much just to see your child. It's hard, and a lot of men sometimes do not want to deal with it. They may just pay the fee, and you know, everybody deals with their emotions differently. Some may get the payment or the judgment come through, and they may be so emotionally distraught. And this isn't making an excuse for any man, but it's just reality in how some people handle things that they deal, that come down the you know, that come down the stream that is life. And some guys may actually bottle that emotion up and hold it deep inside, which may cause certain actions to come forth that probably wouldn't be the case. Some men don't want to see their child because maybe seeing them may remind them of the pain they may feel when child support started for them. It's an emotional thing when someone is just in your pocket taking your money and it's not voluntary, you know, because I feel like most men who want to be fathers will give money, you know what I'm saying, give money and time to their child, you know, when and where they can, and sometimes more, you know, more than that. But it's just an emotional thing for men, and that's just one thing I think that a lot of people don't take into account as well, is a man's emotions. A man's emotions are extremely and very important, you know, just like a woman's emotions is. But you know, in society, a man's emotions aren't really taken into account. Men are made to seem like they're supposed to be invincible or unemotional, you know, but that's just not the case. I don't care who you are. Every person in the world has to deal with emotion. It just is what it is. It's either emotional one way or the other. You know, it's either a negative thing or a positive thing, and it has to be dealt with, you know. And men and women, it might be a difference in terms of how emotions work, maybe in genders, but they're both genders are still emotional, and every person is an individual, so every person's individual emotions are there too. That's something that needs to be taken into account. And then the mental state of people as well needs to be taken into account when deciding on what to do for the children also. It's just so many things that I feel like they're being left out when it comes to this topic. And even as I talk about it, it's just so many other things that are coming to mind as I think about it, honestly. But I feel like for those fathers who man up and pay child support and still see their child, hey man, hats off to you. And hopefully that you got a good deal when you went to court, because that's very important, because the system can adjust it up or down, not even based around or upon the percentage that you have to pay per state or per city or whatever, how that works. And so some men, a lot of men or women, mainly men, get the shaft, man. They can get the shaft. And the kicker to it is that, from what I've read, they go based off how much you could be making, which is stupid. You could be doing a lot of things, but this is what you're actually doing. But sometimes they can base child support off of what you should be doing or what you could be doing based on your potential earnings, which is stupid, which is another reason or another way they can get around to asking you to pay more than what you can actually pay and justify it, which makes life hell. And that's not good. It actually splits up the family in some ways, because it's a very emotional thing. And for those, and it sucks because in the media it's kind of portrayed as women mainly receive it and men are the ones who have to pay it. And I hate to say this too, but it sucks because, and I'm black, okay? I have to take it to a racial standpoint in some ways, but it mainly does seem like there are those in the black community, especially on the female side, that exploit this. They exploit it, man, and it's not good. You can look on Instagram and type in child support and type in child support payments or baby mama or whatever, and see some of the ridiculousness that goes on concerning this. And it's like the government doesn't even see it or care about it. You can have a case where the woman gets awarded such and such amount of money, and she can flaunt that money, that paycheck or whatever, on Instagram. Some men actually do pay for the livelihood of a whole second family because of this, and that's not a good thing. It's not, because let's be honest, as parents, men, women, or whatever, it does not cost that much to raise a child. There may be studies that show that to raise a healthy person that's going to be in society may cost such and such amount, but that's based on a aggregated result, because there are those who come from the bottom of the map, and who made it through with a extremely low amount of money or household income or whatnot, and they may make it to be something a whole lot better than where they came from, or may just as well be a pretty decent adult, whatever what the result's gonna be. But the point being is that people go through financial challenges, family challenges, all kind of things, but you make it through as a family unit, or whatever struggle that may come down. But what I'm saying is, because I'm getting kind of off topic, and maybe it's time for me to end the video because I didn't rambled on so much. But my point being is that being a man or a woman who's single, or a family that's together with not as much income, you can make it through most challenges. Financially, I'm saying. You can. And with kids in tow, you can make it through most things. And a lot of people that came from not as healthy backgrounds know this. It may have been times where you didn't have any food to eat that day or that week or something, but somehow you made it. You know what I'm saying? And for those who want to take it to religion or whatever, God blessed you, because it happens. It happens quite a bit. And I can already hear some that may pass judgment on this, that, and the other way. You shouldn't have kids because you poor, blah, blah, blah. Don't bring kids in. Yeah, I think that's true. You shouldn't have kids when you're poor. But that's just how it is. And we have a government that allows these things. But that's going even further off topic. We need to, well, we need to, but I'm just bringing up some of the issues, man. And maybe I may make another video because I could go on and talk about this for a long period of time. But I just wanted to voice some of my opinions about this. Why? Because hell, I may end up locked up for child support stuff. Because I mean, shoot, my payments, hey, they can be hard on me sometimes. You never know what the money may be needed for or whatever. But it's just being real and being honest. You know, I want the best for my kids, and in some ways I feel like I failed as a father. In some ways I feel like I'm a great father. It just all depends on what's going on currently, you know. But I've been doing this for about 10 years, you know, give or take, because my oldest is about 10. And it's just one of those things, man. You keep going, you don't stop, you keep trying. You do your best and hope for the best. Don't give up, and don't let the system get you down. You know, don't stop making money. Do what you can, take all your opportunities, you know, and do what you can for your kids, man. I mean, whether you on child support or not, do what you can for the kids, man. But I know that's what I try to do. But that's just me. Anyway, I'm glad I could talk about all that. All right, if you watch to the end, thank you. Subscribe if you choose to and whatnot. Holla.